I were taking notes, I would write this down, which is code for write this down. Start small, but believe big. It's the topic of today's conversation. Start small, but believe big. And one of the things that I do is I spend 2 or 3 hours a day reading because I'm on a personal journey to become the best version of me that I can become. And I know that a year from now, I'm going to be the same person I am today, other than the books I read and the people I associate with. And for those of you who are thinking limited thoughts, I don't have time to read, I don't like to read, I'm not good at reading, all of those things are true with me. I'm one of those people who, when I graduated college in 1987, I made a promise to myself that I was never going to read another book. And by 1996, I was keeping that promise. And then my son was born, and I went to an event in Cincinnati, Ohio, and one of the speakers was Zig Ziglar, and I was hooked. Holy cow. I went down to the store where they were selling everything, and I bought every book I could. I bought every cassette tape I could. So for those of you who are younger than 40, cassette tapes, look it up on Google. And I was addicted to learning from that moment forward. Now, today, I read 2 or 3 hours a day in order to be able to bring more value to you and in order to stay on that personal journey of growth. And one of the other things that that's done for me is I'm a quote ninja. So I love quotes. I'm going to give you a couple of my favorites that have to do with today's topic, which is start small, believe big. By the way, teaser, I'm going to end today's call with a formula, with a map that is guaranteed to take you to 75 sales a year. So hang in there, it's coming, and you're going to have to wait till the end of the call. All right, a passive life does not become a meaningful life. A passive life does not become a meaningful life. The next quote I want you to write down is, it's easier to go from failure to success than from excuses to success. Boy, that one really hits home. You know, I think we're naturally wired to make excuses. And this is the victim versus accountability conversation. And it's so easy to say, but it's not my fault. It's company's fault. It's my coworker's fault. It's the next door neighbor's fault. It's the president's fault. It's my wife's fault. It's my husband's fault. It's my partner's fault. And here's the thing about making excuses. When you're making excuses, when you refuse to accept accountability, then there's no hope. I mean, what are you going to do if it's really the president's fault? Absolutely nothing. What are you going to do if it's really the weather's fault? Absolutely nothing. It's easier to go from failure to success than from excuses to success. We're not judged by the number of times we fail, but by the number of times we succeed. And the number of times we succeed is in direct proportion to the number of times we can fail and keep trying. To dare is to lose one's footing. Momentarily, not to dare is to lose oneself. That's one that really hits home with me right now. I've made some changes that are super scary and very daring, right? And I could choose to stay on the safe path. And would I truly find myself, would I find my purpose if I did that? My answer is no. And I'm going to talk to you about that in just a moment when I talk to you about Survive to Thrive. All right, next quote I want you to write down. If you aren't in over your head, then how tall do you know you are? That one's from T.S. Eliot. And then the last quote. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the square pegs and round holes, the ones who see things differently, because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. That one's from Steve Jobs. All right, so question. Can you be the best in the world at what you do? Write it down. Can I be the best in the world at what I do? Now, I'm going to speak to every single one of you all of the time, as if you can be the best in the world at what you do. And I've had people over the years come to me and say, John, I get it. And, my goal just isn't that big. And my response to that is, that's fine. If your goal is to sell 10 homes a year, then I'm here to help you do that. If your goal is to sell 6 homes a year, then I'm here to help you do that. If it's to change the world, I'm going to help you do that. But I'm always going to speak to you as if your goal was massive success. And here's the reason why, because if I'm talking to 40, 50, 100 people, 1,000 people, I'm not necessarily talking to every single person in that group. But if there's one person who was put here to live a really big life, I'm going to make sure that person hears the message they need to hear in order to live that really big life. The next question I have for you is, are you passionate about what you are doing? Do you have passion? You have passion when you hear yourself say things like, the whole thing went from my head to my heart. Over the last 2 years, I've been thinking about this vision of what I want my life to look like. And the moment I became passionate about that, it was time to act. And I can hear myself say, the whole thing went from my head. In other words, it's an idea to my heart. In other words, I've been passionate about this. I have to do it. To do anything else would be failure. Now, I may fail, but I would rather die trying than live in comfort and mediocrity and not realize my potential. The next question I have for you is, do you have the resources to change your world? And if the answer is no, then write down what you need. What are you missing? And then go get those things. All right, last quote. Passion is the soul of significance. Passion is the soul of significance. Now, speaking of passion, here's how I see life. All right. Can you see that? Hope so. All right. You're looking at 5 levels of success. Everybody moves from one level to the other, and I'm going to show it to you again. So don't worry if you're taking notes. I'm going to bring this back up again. Everybody starts in survival. Survival is, I'm doing everything I can to pay my bills, support my family, and just get by month to month. I'm living month to month. I'm barely keeping my head above water, and I'm in survival. It's kind of like you're out to sea, the boat sinks, and you're treading water. And whoever can tread water the longest wins. Now, this conversation also has a lot to do with the real estate market that you're in right now, the real estate market that you're going into. If you haven't noticed, things are slowing down. And I'm not a person who wants to discourage you, but I'm also not going to lie to you and say everything is going to be okay, because everything is not going to be okay. The market's changing. You're going to see sales drop. They're going to drop significantly. The people that I've been speaking to, the agents that I'm coaching, are telling me that sales are down, they're way down, and inventory is increasing. Well, what's that a formula for? What happens if inventory continues to go up and the number of homes that are being sold continues to go down?
Moving into a buyer's market.
Going into a buyer's market for us, 100% correct. And for us as realtors, here's what that means. There's going to be less deals for the real estate agents that are in the business. In other words, a lot of us are competing for less business. Now, there's a lag effect, and the lag effect simply means as sales are going up, the number of real estate agents that are getting in the business will go up as well. But they lag behind the market. Now, when the market corrects and it levels off, which it's already done that, and then it starts to go down, which it's already doing that in most areas of the United States, the number of real estate agents will eventually go down as well, but they typically lag behind the real market by about 6 to 7 months. So as sales are coming down, the number of real estate agents that are getting in the business continues to go up. This is the survive point of the market, because you have more real estate agents competing over fewer sales. You've got to survive in order to thrive. Now, as the sales go down, the number of agents are going down as well, but they lag behind the real market. Meaning when the market hits the bottom and it starts to correct, the number of agents that are getting out of the business will continue to go down. And that lags behind the real market by about 6 to 7 months, which means you have this period at the bottom where sales are going up and there's fewer and fewer real estate agents. So now you've got more sales happening and less competition. That's the thrive part of the market. And your job is to hang in there long enough, tread water, survival. Your job is to hang in there long enough until the market gets to that point where it's going up and the sales agents that are in the market is going down. You have fewer agents and more deals. Now it's your time to thrive. And during this time is when you take market share. And market share simply means that your percentage of the market is going up. Your sales may not be going up. They may be staying flat. Maybe they are going up, but you have a higher percentage of market share. And here's another thing I want you to write down. You never give it back. When you take market share, you never give it back. All right. You move from survivals to stability. Stability simply means that, okay, paying bills, I've got a little bit of money left at the end of every month, and we're going on a couple of vacations, and we're not fighting to survive. We've got stability. We move from stability to success. Most people stop here. For most people, this level is the highest they ever get. By the way, that's not a comment of judgment. It's just fact. And is that okay? Yes, of course it's okay. However, if you are thinking it's not okay for me, then the next level for you is significance. Significance is when you start living to make a difference in other people's lives. For those of you who are building real estate businesses, real estate teams, you're building your downline, you're bringing people into the organization and you're teaching them how to succeed in real estate, you are living a life of significance. Now, remember, very few people do this. Most people get to success and that's where they stop. And if you're one of the few that gets to significance, then good for you. And the highest level on this is legacy. Legacy is changing the world. It's changing the world that outlives you. It's making a difference in lives of people who aren't even born yet. And here's the other interesting thing about this. Where's my marker? There it is. The other interesting thing about this is you can move from one level to the other, and you can move back down again. Matter of fact, if I tracked my life, I would tell you, this is hard to do. I'm going to get a flip chart so that we don't have to do this. In 92, I was here. I was at survival. By 97, I was at success. In 2002, I was back down to survival. By 2014, I was back up to success. In 2015, back to survival. By 2021, up here in significance. In 2022, a month ago, I'm back down to survival. Now, I have a crystal ball. I know what the future looks like. And I'm going to tell you, that's a joke. Don't anybody out there think this guy really has a crystal ball? What does he think he is? In 2023 or 2032, the reason I was put here, legacy. In other words, the next 10 years of my life, this is a period of time that I have set aside as this is why I was put here. Now, in order to go up, you have to give up. And every single one of those times where I went from success back to survival was in order to take the next step. Matter of fact, in 2014, I'm closing $30 million a year in real estate. I'm making $900,000 in GCI. We're doing really, really well. Life is good. We're in success. We're in significance, kind of, because we're making a difference in other people's lives. And in 2015, I gave all of that up to start over again. My wife's laughing in the background. She's like, she's not laughing. She said, and we're back in survival. By the way, that was a choice. I almost said we, because she's going to go, no, you made that decision, not me. I made a choice. We're going back to survival in order to go to the next level. Guys, I hope you're paying attention. Okay. Now, the next question I have for you is, do you know where you are? If you looked at this, do you know where you are? Here's a better question. Do you know where you are going? If the answer is no, get your journal out, spend some time thinking about this, journaling about this, and create a vision of what your future life looks like so that you know where you're going. Keep doing that exercise until you find passion, until the whole thing moves from your head to your heart. All right, so the next question you may be asking yourself is, where should I start? Okay, John, I get all of this. Where should I start? Great question. I'm going to tell you in just a moment. Start small, believe big. That's one place you should start. Start small and believe big. Hit your daily standards on your one thing. Now, as real estate agents, your one thing is lead generation. Your one thing that must happen every single day, and everything else is a distraction until this is done, is lead generation. And I'm going to challenge you to create standards around that lead generation and hit your standards for daily lead generation. In other words, start small, think big, build your database. I skipped that. 3. No, I didn't skip that. Hold on a second. Start small, think big, build your database, hit your daily standards on your one thing. Step number 3, don't settle. And what I mean by don't settle is don't stop until you've hit your goal for lead generation standards every day. Whatever your standard is, if it's 20 conversations, don't stop until you've had 20 conversations. If it's 30, if it's 40, hit that standard every single day. Don't settle. And then last is follow up. Now, what does that look like? It looks like this. This is a model to sell 75 homes a year. I'm going to leave it up there for just a moment. If you want to screenshot it, if you want to take a picture of it with your camera, you can, but this is your model to sell 75 homes a year. Now, I'm going to explain that model to you. You're working 250 days. If you work 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, that's 250 days. Robin, yeah, I can. I'll get back to that though, okay? You're working 250 days. You're having 20 conversations a day, which means you had 5,000 conversations over the year. You're focused on building your database, and you're focused on creating opportunity in your funnel. One of your standards is 20 conversations a day. Hit it. Don't settle. One of your other standards is to add one new person to your database every single day. So somebody that you haven't met yet, called a haven't met, you're moving into your database as a met. You're doing that at least once a day or 250 times a year. You're adding 250 people to your database. It's a standard. Don't miss it. Don't settle for anything less. Find one person every single day that's thinking of selling their home and meet with them face to face. In other words, go on at least one appointment a day. It's a standard 250 appointments a year. And then the next step is to follow up forever. And when you look at this, you've got lead generation that's happening over here on the far left. Lead generation creates an opportunity. In other words, you're meeting with somebody who's thinking of selling their home. You're going to follow up once a week for 4 weeks. You're going to follow up once every other week for the next 4 weeks. And then you're going to follow up once a month forever. Now, forever means that you reject rejection. It means that no is not a word that lives in your vocabulary. No simply means not yet. It means that you understand that people will never change their mind, but they will make a new decision based on new information. So Alexi, if you're a for sale by owner and I'm following up with you and it's month 3, by this time, I'm just calling and saying, hey, Alexi, John Dietz, just checking in. How are you? Is there anything I can do for you? And I'm hearing, nope, life is good. I'm still not listing my home. Cool. Talk to you in a couple of weeks. Now, if Robin says, John, I'm never going to list my home, you don't need to continue to call me. My response is going to be, I understand, and I'll call you again next month. If there's anything you need, I'm just a phone call away. I am following up forever. And because I'm following up forever, I'm creating emotional proximity. Now, let me explain what emotional proximity is to you. If you go to your favorite store and you walk in and the salesperson says, how can I help you? Your response is, I'm just looking. And most salespeople are going to go, okay, fine, have a great day. And you're never going to see that person again. Now, if I'm training that salesperson, I'm going to train them when Clarissa comes in and they ask her, how can I help you? And Clarissa says, I'm just looking. The salesperson is going to say, that's fine. Hey, by the way, my name's John. I'm going to be over here folding clothes. If there's anything you need, I'm just a few steps away. And after 2 or 3 minutes, I'm going to see where Clarissa goes. I'm going to watch what she's looking at. I'm going to pay attention. And I'm going to walk over and I'm going to say, hey, Clarissa, remember me? My name's John. I'm over here folding clothes, just checking in to see how you are. And I hear, I'm still just looking. No worries. I'll be right over here if you need me. 5 minutes later, I walk back. Hey, Clarissa, John again. Remember me? Just checking in. I want to see how you're doing. Is there anything I can do for you? Do you have any questions? No, I'm still looking. You're kind of weird. Go away. And I'm going to say, I'm still over here folding clothes. If there's anything you need, I'm just a few steps away. Now, this goes on and on and on until Clarissa's picked up that suit that she's interested in buying. And because I've created emotional proximity, she's going to do this. And when she's doing this, she's looking for me. She's looking for me because I created emotional proximity. If I didn't create emotional proximity, any fool with a key in their hand will do. In other words, anybody that could get her into the dressing room is what she's looking for. But because that strange guy, John, just kept on following up, he was nice, he was professional, he wasn't pushy, he created emotional proximity, she's going to come looking for me. Well, the same concept works for you guys when you're calling that for sale by owner once a week for 4 weeks, and then once every other week for the next 4 weeks, and then once a month forever after that. You're creating emotional proximity so that when Alana and Alexi are standing in their kitchen and they're like, all right, this for sale by owner thing ain't working. We probably should call a realtor. Who do you think we should call? Well, that John Dietz guy, he was a pain in the ass. He just kept calling, even though we told him not to, but pretty persistent, probably the kind of guy we want to hire. Let's call him. That's how it works. Now, these are true numbers based on my 13 years of experience, because I'm not sharing anything with you that I didn't do. 20% of this group will hire you. Promise. When you follow this model, 20% will hire you. Now, some of you are thinking, wow, that's not very good, John. 80% are not hiring me. Focus on the success, not the failures. 20% of 250 is 50 listings. Who here wouldn't take 50 listings over the next 12 months? Now, you're thinking, John, you said 75. Where's the other 25? You've added 250 people to your database that you're building a relationship with. You're staying in touch with them. You're bringing value to them. You're having forward conversations with them. And occasionally you're asking them, hey, by the way, who do you know that's thinking of selling their home? If you know of anybody, would you possibly refer them to me? And over time, 6.2% moved in 2021, guys. I'm going to use 10%. If 10% of your database moved every year, and you have 250 people that you're staying in touch with, you're creating top of mind. So when they think of real estate, they think of you. You should convert 10% of your database to a closed sale. I'm not even taking into consideration the referrals that you're going to get. Yeah, no, John, I'm not thinking of selling my home, but I know somebody who is. You should call Robin, cool, I'll call Robin. Just direct business. There's the other 25 sales. You've sold 75 homes. Now, here's the problem for most of you. This is too simple. Because it's too simple, you don't think it works. Simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication. It works. Now, Robin, these levels in the triangle that you were asking about are survival. We go from survival to stability. We go from stability to success. We go from success to significance. And we go from significance to legacy. And there's going to be times in your life where you move back down to survival and you start again. It's happened for me several times. And it's okay. Just start again. All right, guys, take yourself off mute. Talk to me.
So do you feel